Shana Tova, everyone.
Shana Tova.
It is my pleasure to welcome you to Temple Emeth and to our service for the second day of Rosh Hashanah. It's my pleasure to welcome you here to the Rabbi Louis J. Siegel Sanctuary in Teaneck, New Jersey. Just a couple of notes before we get started. First of all, I would like to welcome those of you who are watching on live stream. The Sidur, the Machzor that we use for the High Holy Days is Mishkan HaNefesh, and for Rosh Hashanah, it is the gold volume. So if you have a copy, perhaps you borrowed a copy from our office in the last couple of weeks, now's the time to bring it to your screen or your device so that you can follow along with each and every prayer and song and page number of our service. Also, if you're watching on live stream, I encourage you at this time to post something in the chat or comment section of the live stream platform. That way others will know that you're watching and we form bonds of virtual community in this way. For those of you in the sanctuary, I want to say Bruchim Habaim and welcome to you, Shana Tova. Hopefully you already have both a copy of our Machzor and a copy of our Shofar Healing Service booklet, which we won't get to for a while yet in our service, but I want to make sure that you have it. If not, our ushers will be happy to get you a copy. Please take a moment right now to make sure that your cell phones are turned off. I say silenced, but really, are you going to take a call on vibrate in the middle of services? I think not. So you might as well turn it all the way off. And similarly, there's no recording during our service. That would be distracting to us on the Bima, but more so to you, especially because we're already recording the service with high quality technology, and if you are so moved to watch it again, you can go home and it will be archived on our site, emeth.org/livestream. So you can turn off your recording devices. And one other note, which is that we have a security plan in place today. Some of it you saw as you came in the building. Some parts of our security plan you cannot see, but there is, of course, the very unlikely chance that someone will have to call 911 if there's an emergency. If that's the case, then I ask you to notify one of our ushers, have them call 911, because if the call is routed through them, it will go a little bit more efficiently in terms of them knowing our building and our procedures. Well, we've gathered again on the second day of Rosh Hashanah, and in some ways, this service is very similar to yesterday's service. We'll sing Zochreinu, we'll sing Unatana Tokef, we will have these familiar melodies that draw us back in teshuva, in repentance, to our best selves, to our loved ones, and to God. In other ways, this service is going to be a little bit different. There is a different Torah portion, there is a different Haftarah portion, and perhaps most significantly, when we blow the shofar, it is going to be in the context of a healing service. What we found even before the pandemic is that our community really yearns for the chance to offer prayers for healing, prayers for hope, and sing the melodies that we have come to associate with these themes. And so during our service, our shofar, the sounding of the shofar will be punctuated with these prayers and songs for healing. And I think that you'll really appreciate that when we get to that part of the service. We are going to begin our service this morning with an opening song, which is found in Mishkan HaNefesh on page 110. We turn to page 110, and please join with Cantor Tillam as we sing our opening song, Matovu.
Matovu.
We turn now in our Machzor to page 139. Beloved friend, who calls us to conscience, reminds us of our own strength, invites us to grow, empowers us to act. Cosmic mysteries are yours, but the earth is ours to tend and heal as best we can. Beloved partner in creation, we join our strength with yours to make you real and true. We continue now on page 142 with the Baruch Hu. Please rise if you are able for the Baruch Hu. We remain standing as we turn to page 147. All life springs from a single fountainhead. Listen, Israel. Know the oneness at the heart of multiplicity. With love and reverence, we bear witness to Mekor HaChaim. We turn to page 150.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We turn now to page 163. The voice that redeems us comes from within. Said Rabbi Elazar Hamodai, consider the courage of Israel. When Moses said to the people in Egypt, "Arise and go forth," they did not ask, "How can we go into the wilderness with no sustenance for the way?" They had faith and went forward. Together, the voice that lifts up the lowly upholds the exhausted and tells us to put one foot in front of the other. Sometimes it comes from within.
Mi chamocha b'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedai b'kodesh, noradinat u'sefer. Shira chadasha shibechu geulim, l'shimcha l'sfat hayam. Yochad kulam hodu v'himlichu v'ameru Adonai Yimelech le'olam va'ed. Tzu Yisrael kuma be'ezrat Yisrael uv'deichenu mecha Yehuda v'Yisrael go alenu Adonai tzvaot shema kedosh Yisrael Baruch ata Adonai God Yisrael.
We turn to page 166. Prayer is a step on which we rise from the self we are to the self we wish to be. Prayer affirms the hope that no reality can crush the aspiration that can never acknowledge defeat. Please rise if you are able for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, El Gadol HaGibor v'Hanara, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Akol, V'zocher Chasdei V'imahot, U'mevii Gula Livnei V'neihem, L'man Shemo Be'avah. Mashiach u'magen. Baruch ata Adonai. Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל.
Please be seated. We continue on page 174. And so let these words of sanctity ascend to you, for you are our God and sovereign. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, your reign is a reign of truth. In truth you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you record and recount. You remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself, for every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. We read together, and so a great shofar will cry, Tkiah, a still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, behold the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes, even they are not blameless. All who come into the world shall pass before you, like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments.
Rosh Hashanah yikatevun uviyom tzom kippur yechatemun Rosh Hashanah Rosh Hashanah yikatevun uviyom tzom kippur yechatemun kama Miva eish, umiva mayim, miva cherev, umiva chaya, miva rav, umiva tzama. mi varash mi vamagefu mi vachandika
On Rosh Hashanah, this is written. On the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by beast? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who will rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? Together, but through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. You are everything that we praise you for, slow to anger, quick to forgive. You do not wish the death of sinners, but urge them to return from their ways and live. Until the day of death, you wait for them. You accept them at once if they return. Together, since you created us, you know our impulses. We are but flesh and blood. We who are mortal, our origin is dust, and so is our end. We wear out our lives to get our bread, like broken vessels, like withered grass, like a flower that must fade, a shadow moving on, a cloud passing by, mere dust on the wind, a dream that flies away. Together, but for you, ever-living sovereign, time has no limits. Your presence, unbounded by days and years, is everywhere, a glorious mystery none can decipher. Your name is worthy of you, and you are worthy of your name, and our name you have linked with yours. We turn now to page 217. We read together in the middle of the page, "Let the pursuit of peace and justice be our highest good, and may all people make peace their responsibility. Let Torah be a light that guides our lives toward empathy and understanding, toward generosity of heart. Let peace be our passion, chief among our prayers, every season of the year, every hour of the day. Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh ha-shalom. You are the Blessed One, eternal source of shalom." We turn now in our Machzor to page 224. Avinu Malkeinu is in some ways the emotional pinnacle of the holidays. We sing a lot of emotional songs, but this one we sing in front of the open ark. This one, I think, has the melody and the lyrics that are most familiar to us. And this one, to me, is also, I think, the one which best represents the spirit with which at least I enter the holidays. It is supposed to be one of devotion. Avinu Malkeinu, we are devoted to the power that is greater than us. It is one of humility. Ein banu ma'asim, we have no merit, but it is also one of love, that having no merit, we turn to this great authority in our lives or authority in the universe, and we ask for tzedakah and chesed and hoshia. We ask for compassion, generosity, and justice. The ideas really resonate with me, and I think they resonate with many of us. We continue now on page 224. Please rise if you are able for Avinu Malkeinu. Okay, Andrea, you're going to open the left side, and Alan, open the right side. No time like the present. And then take a step down. And Andrea, make sure that the cantor can see Tom. Just make sure you're nice, but take a step right over there. That's good because the congregation still needs to see the Torahs. Avinu Malkeinu, we stand in awe, we draw close in love. Avinu Malkeinu, the power that passes through us and pervades all things. Avinu Malkeinu, the divine that is present within and among us. We read responsively, Avinu Malkeinu Shema Kolenu. We speak this sacred truth aloud. Avinu Malkeinu Chatanu Lefanecha. We stand as one, accountable for our sins. Avinu Malkeinu Chamol Aleinu Ve'al Olaleinu V'tapenu. We yearn for true compassion, for our children most of all. Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'aleinu. May we resist the ravages of illness, fear, and despair. Avinu Malkeinu Kalei Kol Tsaru Mastin Me'aleinu. Let us summon courage to withstand our enemies. Avinu Malkeinu Kodvenu B'Sefer Chayim Tovim. Let the goodness of this gift of life be engraved upon our hearts. Avinu Malkeinu Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova. May we taste anew the sweetness of each day. Avinu Malkeinu Malei Yadenu Mibir Chotecha. Let us wake up to the blessings already in our grasp. Avinu Malkeinu Chonenu Va'anenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu. However small our deeds, let us see their power to heal. May we save lives through compassion, generosity, and justice. Okay, take a step to the right. There we go, perfect.
Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chaneinu v'aneinu, ki ein banu ma'asim, aseh imanu, tzedakta v'chesed, aseh imanu, tzedakta v'chesed,
We continue at the top of page 228.
Adonai, Adonai, Rachum v'chanun, Erech apayim, v'rav chesed ve'emet, noteh chesed la'alafim, nosei avon v'afesha, v'chata'a v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Rachum v'chanun, Erech apayim, v'rav chesed ve'emet, noteh chesed la'alafim, nosei avon v'afesha, v'chata'a v'nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, Rachum v'chanun, Erech apayim, v'rav chesed ve'emet, noteh chesed la'alafim, nosei avon v'afesha, v'chata'a v'nakeh. galul Adonai iti, oy nirai mimo shemo yachdav. Lecha Adonai hagedula, yagivora, yatiferet, ve'anetzach ve'ad. Ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki chol b'shamayim u'va'aretz. Lecha Adonai ha'mamlecha, ve'ani nasi lechol erosh.
Please be seated. Shall not the judge of all the earth do justice? It is Abraham's question to God, a rhetorical question, of course. Shall not the judge of all the earth do justice? He stands up in defense of the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, inhabited by people he has never met. And we read this story on Rosh Hashanah because one of the nicknames of today is the Day of Judgment. And so we are offered an insight into how God's judgment can be merciful. And we're offered an insight also into how Abraham, representing all of humanity, demands justice of God. We don't want to believe in a capricious God. We don't want to believe in a God that upholds only the strictest standards of retribution, but rather a God who hears our plea, who responds to our understanding of human frailty and the nuance of living. And so Abraham begins his, some say argument, but I think it's more a negotiation with God with these words, until finally, at the end of the story, he returns to his place. And I've always read this last verse of the chapter as being that perhaps Abraham, in standing up to God, in defending humanity and negotiating in this way, he's almost having an out-of-body experience. After all, he could have done something very similar later in yesterday's Torah portion. We read them out of order. But yesterday we read about the Akedah and the command to sacrifice Isaac, and Abraham offered no resistance in that story. Perhaps it was because in our story today, in chapter 18 of Genesis, Abraham has moved out of his place, both physically and metaphysically, to have this negotiation with God and stand up for humanity in a way no one else has. And when it's over, he returns to his place. He resumes his life. He has made his stand for humanity and for life. And in doing so, he has become a role model for all of us, that each of us can have an opportunity and ought to seize the opportunity to stand up for life and demand justice. Our Torah portion is Genesis chapter 18, beginning with verse 16. It's one of the alternate Torah portions, so you can find it in the back of our Machzor, beginning on page 334. And for the honor of reading the first Aliyah, or chanting, we call upon Mark Chelamer. And to honor the Torah with the Aliyah, for the first Aliyah, we call upon Nancy Miller-Kozeradsky. Okay, so hang on. Nancy, put your hand right there for me. Okay, Mark, you started Vayakumu. You're right there. Okay, I'm going to stand right here. Okay, Nancy, we're ready for the blessing.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayakumu misham hanashim vayishkachu al panei Sedom ve'Avraham holech imam leshalcham v'Adonai amar המחזה אני מאברהם אשר אני עושה ואברהם היו אדוני לגוי גדול ועצום ונברכו בו כל גויי הארץ כי ידעתיו למען אשר יצווה את פניו ואת ביתו אחריו ושמרו דרך אדוני לעשות צדקה ומשפט למען הביא אדוני אל אברהם את אשר דיבר עליו ויאמר אדוני זעקת סדום ועמורה כי רבה וחטאתכם כי כבדה מאוד.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Our Torah reader for the second Aliyah is Rachel Eastman, and to honor the Torah with the Aliyah, we call upon Amanda Eastman.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Ba'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen.
Amen. Erdana ve'ere haketzakata haba'a elai asukala bimlo eda'a vayifnu misham hanashim vayelchu Sedoma ve'Avraham odenu omed lifnei Adonai. Vayigash Avraham vayomar hinena ha'avtis peh tzadik im rasha ulai yesh 50 tzadikim b'toch ha'ir ha'avtis peh velo tisa lamakom leman 50 hatzadikim asher b'kirba chalila lecha me'asot kadavar hazeh lehamid tzadik im rasha v'hayak hatzadik karasha chalila lach hashofet kol haaretz lo ya'aseh mishpat. Vayomer Adonai imem savi Sodom 50 tzadikim b'toch ha'ir v'nasati l'chol hamakom ba'avuram vaya'an Avraham vayomar hinena ha'alti Lidaber el Adonai va'anochi afar va'efer ulai yaksarun 50 hatzadikim 5 hatashchit b'hamishcha v'chamisha et kol ha'ir vayomer lo ashchit im emtza sham 45.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Oh wait, Rachel, show me where you left off. Sorry, it's over here. Yeah. I'll find it. More stuff.
Nope, too far. It's
Okay,
right in
I'll
there.
get it. I'll get it. Our Torah reader for the third Aliyah is Morris Sobel, and to honor the Torah with the Aliyah, we call upon Marcia Sobel. Okay, Marcia, put your hand right there. Morris, you're starting here at Vayosef Od Lidaber, correct?
Correct.
All right, we're ready for the blessings on the card.
Baruch hu et Adonai hambarach.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hambarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bacha banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Vayosef od lidaber elav vayomar ulai yimatzun sham 40 vayomer lo eseh ba'avur ha'arba'im. Vayomer el na yichar ladonai vadabera. Ulai yimatzun sham shaloshim. Vayomer lo eseh im emtza sham shaloshim. Vayomer hinena ha'alpi lidaber el Adonai. Ulai yimatzun sham esrim. Vayomer lo ashrit ba'avur ha'esrim. Vayomer el na yichar ladonai vadabera ach apam. Ulai imatzon sham asara. Vayomer lo ashrit ba'avur asera. Vayelech Adonai kasher kila lidaber el Avraham. V'Avraham shav limkomo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
This is usually the time when we offer a prayer for healing, but we have dedicated our shofar service to the theme of healing. And so at this time, we are going to continue with the lifting and dressing of the Torah, which is found on page 246. Please rise if you are able for Hagba and Galila. Okay, Alan. So remember, you're going to roll.
V'zot Torah asher tzama Moshe libnei bnei Yisrael. Ani Adonai b'yad Moshe. Yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai lai lai, yalalai lai lai, yalalai lai lai lai, yalalai yalalai lai, yalalai lai.
Please be seated. Before we continue with the Haftarah, I just wanted to make a note for those of you who are watching us on live stream. Some of you borrowed machzorim from the office, and when you did, you received a Shofar Healing Service booklet, which is great. We're going to refer to that in a few moments. Some of you might be watching us on live stream and you don't have access to this booklet, but you have a few minutes between now and when we're going to use it, and we have uploaded it to our website. So you can go to emeth.org, you can go to our High Holy Day page, which is under the Worship tab. So it's emeth.org, click on Worship, click on High Holy Days, and then scroll down a little bit and it will say to view the Shofar Healing Service booklet, click here. I recommend doing that on a second device so that you can watch us on live stream on one screen, see the words to the healing service on another screen, or you could just listen and appreciate it. That's an option also, but it is there for you if you want to view it online. With that little announcement made, we are ready to turn to our Haftarah portion. The Haftarah portion is found on page 252 in the Machzor. Now, yesterday, when we heard the Haftarah, we heard about the story of Hannah, how she yearned for a son, how she poured out her soul in prayer to God, and God remembered her. That's why we read it on the Day of Remembrance. God remembered her, and she conceived a son and named him Samuel. And chapter 1 really is a self-contained story about faith and about prayer. But chapter 2 is part of the story as well, and that's what we're going to hear today. After succeeding, after her prayer, after devoting Samuel to the service of God, she prays to God a long, lyrical, poetic prayer, and that is our Haftarah for this morning. So the Haftarah text can be found on page 252. It begins, of course, with a blessing, which is found on page 247. And for the honor of reading this morning's Haftarah, we call upon Paul Kaufman.
Blessed are you, our God eternal, supreme power of the universe, who called forth noble prophets to speak the truth. Blessed are you, God of eternity, who delights in the Torah, in Moses, God's servant, in Israel, God's people, and in prophets of truth and might. Page 252. And Hannah prayed, saying, through the eternal my heart knows joy. Through the eternal my horn is raised. My mouth opens wide against my foes, for I exult in your deliverance. There is nothing holy like the eternal, for there is nothing beside you, and there is no rock like our God. Speak no more in lofty tones, let arrogance leave your mouths. All-knowing is the eternal God, whose deeds cannot be measured. The bows of the mighty are broken, while those who falter find strength. Those who were full sell themselves for bread, and the hungry hunger no more. The one who was barren bears 7, and the mother of many is bereaved. The Eternal is the maker of death and life, takes down to Sheol and brings back up. The Eternal makes poverty and wealth, casts low and raises aloft, lifts the poor from the dust, causes the needy to rise from dung heaps and dwell among princes, then places them on thrones of honor. For the pillars of the earth belong to the Eternal, who founded the world upon them, who watches over the steps of the faithful, while turning evildoers silent in the darkness. For not by power shall a human being prevail. The Eternal shatters foes, thunders against them in the heavens. The Eternal judges the earth from end to end. So may God give strength to the sovereign, and raise high the horn of God's anointed. Page 259. 258, I'm sorry. Blessed are you, our God eternal, supreme power of the universe, rock of all ages, source of justice in all generations, God in whom faithfulness abides, whose word is deed, whose every utterance bespeaks truth and righteousness. Faithful are you, our God eternal, and faithful your words. Not one of them rings hollow, for yours is a reign of loyalty and compassion. Blessed are you, God of eternity, you are true to your word. Blessed are you, God of eternity, who brings joy to Zion through her sons and daughters.
This time we begin our shofar healing service. So you can put away Mishkan HaNefesh for a few moments and take out the Healing Shofar Service booklets. If there is a common theme that ties together the Torah portion, the Haftarah portion, and the Shofar service, I think it is hope. Abraham engages in this negotiation with God in the hopes that he can make an impact on God's sense of justice, in the hope that he can defer God's judgment long enough for the people of the wicked city to atone and live righteous lives. Hannah lives a life of hope that her prayer will be answered, and when it is answered, that hope is repaid with the form of that beautiful prayer that we heard. And so too, we who are in need of healing, or we who care for those who are ill, we find ourselves yearning for hope. For it is hope that helps us envision a brighter day. It is hope that helps us connect to God. It is hope that helps us better understand the meaning of our illness. And so this is not just a service of healing, it is a service of healing and hope, which begins in the booklet on page 1. Out of the depths I call to you, O Eternal. O Eternal, listen to my cry. Let your ears be attentive to my plea for mercy. Each of us struggles with pain in the course of our lives. Whether physical or emotional, this pain has the potential to overwhelm us and distance us from our loved ones and from God. There is not one among us who has avoided life's adversity and lived a life free of pain, nor is there one among us whose relationship with God is static and unchanging. Instead, our loss inevitably brings us closer to God or farther away. Those of us who doubt God's role in our lives do not reject God's presence completely. Rather, we are each on our own journey, our own path to find how we connect to God throughout our lives. The path winds and may not always be easy to travel, but ultimately it leads to peace with our own selves and an understanding to the role God plays in our lives. We each have to blaze our own trail to reach these answers. It may require more patience and courage than initially anticipated, but the spiritual reward is great. Together, each person can blaze their own trail to God. From the depths, we call out to God with patience and courage and the support of community. Arriving at that destination will offer unexpected spiritual rewards. O my God, my soul's companion, my heart's precious friend, I turn to you. I need to close out the noise, to rise above the noise that interrupts, the noise that separates, the noise that isolates. I need to hear you again. In the silence of my innermost being, in the fragments of my yearned for wholeness, I hear whispers of your presence, echoes of the past when you were with me, when I felt your nearness, when together we walked, when you held me close, embraced me in your love, laughed with me in my joy. I yearn to hear you again. In your oneness I find healing. In the promise of your love I am soothed. In your wholeness I too can become whole again. Please listen to my call. Help me find the words. Help me find the strength within. Help me shape my mouth, my voice, my heart, so that I can direct my spirit and find you in prayer. In my words, only my heart can speak. In songs, only my soul can sing. Lifting my eyes and heart to you, Adonai Sfatai Tiftach, open my lips, precious God, so that I can speak with you again.
Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shomer, Shomer Yisrael, Shemoy, Shemi Shema Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Shema Sherit Yisrael. Shema Sherit Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael. Ha'omrim Shema Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Shomer, Shomer Yisrael. Shemoy Sherit Yisrael. Shemoy Sherit Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael. Ha'omrim Shema Yisrael. Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad, Ve'al Yovad Yisrael. Ha'omrim Shema Yisrael.
Merciful Sovereign, we stand before you today grateful for the wonderful gift of life with which you have blessed us, but also mindful of its fragility. Some of us are in good health, yet aware of our family and friends who are not as fortunate, and some of us are ill and in pain. As we contemplate the sounds of the shofar, we think of its rending cry, calling to mind weakness and suffering. In the midst of the turmoil, you at this moment of prayer, God of healing, may we find comfort under your protecting wings. For the honor of opening the ark for the first set of shofar calls, I call upon Sandy Zulo and Anita Zulo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kichanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lishma kol shofar. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechayanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu Lazman Hazeh.
Please rise for the calling of the shofar. Okay, you can slide it open. Okay, and now take a step down. Okay, but don't go too far. Take a step down and then come to this side this way.
Tekiah, Shvarim Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah.
Okay, you're going to step up and close the ark now.
Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are,
According to the Talmud, page 4 of our booklet, not page 4 of the Talmud. Page 8b of Brachot in the Babylonian Talmud, both the whole tablets and the fragments of the tablets were placed in the ark. Upon seeing the Israelites worshiping the golden calf, Moses cast the tablets containing the 10 Commandments to the ground, shattering them. Later, having achieved God's forgiveness upon the people, Moses received a new set of tablets. Of course, the whole set would be placed in the ark to accompany the people through the desert. But why also the broken set? The Talmud teaches that it is to remind us to respect an old man who has lost his knowledge through no fault of his own. No one chooses to be broken, whether our brokenness is from a chronic illness or the result of a traumatic injury. We yearn for dignity. We want our loved ones to be helpful but not patronizing, and strangers to see us as more than just a disability. In other words, we want our wholeness and our brokenness to accompany each other. The process of acceptance comes from within. For others to accept us, we must learn to accept ourselves. For others to respect us, we must be convinced that we are fully human, created in the image of God.
Rifa'enu Adonai v'nei Rafa, Hoshienu v'niva she'ah, El Karab l'chol Karab, Ach Karab v'reya yish'ah. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole and oh, please heal us now. Rifat ha'nefesh, rifat ha'guf, rifat shlema, heal us now. We pray for healing of the body. We pray for healing of the soul, for strength of flesh and mind and spirit. We pray to once again be whole and oh, please heal us now. Rifat ha'nefesh, rifat ha'guf, rifat shlema, heal us now. Heal us now. Heal us now.
We read responsively at the top of page 5. When all seems dark and the darkness is harsh, when I cannot see light even in the brightest day, when I am tired and every breath is heavy, when my words do not grasp the depth of yearning in my soul, when my feelings are overwhelming or dulled, when I am confused and don't know what to do, so that we may be together. To open the ark for the second set of shofar calls, we call upon Andy Benish and Cindy Simon. Please rise.
Tekiah, Shvarim Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the land of your soul.
We continue in our booklet on page 6. A miracle cannot prove what is impossible. It only confirms what is possible. To be a Jew is to hope. As a community, we pray on Rosh Hashanah for a better year to come than the one that has just ended. But hope is more profound than that. To choose life means to believe that life will be worth living in the future, even if it is not today. To believe in the coming of the Messiah or the Messianic age is to believe that God's redemptive power is ready to be unleashed, waiting for just the right moment. The prophet Ezekiel looked at a body filled with dry bones and saw a nation waiting to be reborn, for nothing is too miraculous for God. No matter what we hope for, a cure for our ailments, a respite from our pain, a dignified end, let us imagine a day when it will be possible, whether we hope for it for ourselves, our loved ones, or the entire world. Let us imagine a day when it will not be considered a miracle. Let hope unleash our potential. Let renewal be at hand. Some among us are caregivers of friends or family members who are ill. Our hearts ache for their pain. Our minds are sometimes filled with fear. Some of us are doctors, therapists, nurses, aides, working each day to repair injury, cure disease, alleviate pain, and we are sometimes called upon to those who are close to death. Help us and them to have strength to face others' suffering and to be healers of body and soul. In a moment, we will offer the Mishaberach, and as we prepare for this most familiar and comforting of healing prayers, I invite you, if you are watching us on live stream, to enter the name of someone you're thinking of in need of healing in the chat or comment section of the live stream platform. And similarly, for those of us here in the sanctuary, if you are thinking of someone in need of healing, I invite you to share their name out loud or in your heart at this time. In a moment, you will see the names of our temple members in need of healing and their loved ones on your screen. To those names, we add the name Dorothy Breyer as we look to the top of page 7 and we join in the Mishaberach.
May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
As we contemplate the sounds of the shofar calling to us, we are summoned by the knowledge of suffering in our midst. Some in our community live in loneliness. Some worry about daily sustenance. Some struggle to get through each day. The shofar calls us to hear the cries of those among whom we live, the cries of people whom we may not even see. As the shofar curves from narrowness to breadth, so too may you bring all people from affliction to ease. Bless the leaders of our community and our country, that we may walk on the path of righteousness and compassion. To open the ark for the final set of shofar calls, we call upon Art and Sabrina Lehrman.
Tekiah, Shvarim Teruah, Tekiah, Tekiah, Shvarim, Tekiah, Tekiah, Teruah, Tekiah Gedolah,
We return now to our machzor, as I invite you to turn to page 270. On page 270, we find the prayer for our congregation.
Eternal presence, who blessed our mothers and fathers, bless this holy congregation, a house of study, prayer, and righteous deeds. Together we give thanks for our leaders, those who learn, teach, and uphold the Torah, inspiring others to learn, teach, and uphold the Torah, those who do the sacred work of building our community. May their service bring them joy, fulfillment, and purpose, and may they go from strength to strength. For our members, diverse in age, interest, and background, Jews by birth, Jews by choice, and those of other faiths who join with us, all who offer their time and talent, their love and commitment. For all who come here on this holy day of Rosh Hashanah to share the search for meaning and renewal, your presence is a blessing, your friendship a gift. May the spirit of peace, dignity, and respect live within these walls, inspiring us to care for one another with compassion. And may we be a source of goodness, light, and healing for the world. May the one who blessed the generations before us bless us as we stand together this day, one congregation, joined with all Jewish communities of the world through our prayers on this festival of the new year. Let us renew ourselves for the year ahead. Let us honor the precious legacy that is ours.
We continue on page 276 as we prepare to return the Torah to the Ark. Please rise. Yehalalu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado.
Adarat v'shamayim v'yaren keren lama tehillah lechol hasidah libnei Yisrael am kiro.
Please be seated. It is my pleasure at this time to call upon Alan Winters, a member of our Board of Trustees, to offer Rosh Hashanah greetings and announcements.
Shana Tova. My name is Alan Winters, and I am an officer of the Temple serving as your financial secretary. I'd like to share just a few announcements with you. If you didn't get a chance to yesterday, please be sure to take a shopping bag as you leave the sanctuary today for our annual High Holy Day food drive. Please bring it back on Yom Kippur, filled with nutritious groceries, and also consider a donation to Mazon. Be sure to attend the Trachtenberg Lecture on Friday, October 14th at 8 o'clock p.m. We will welcome Dr. Lisa Moses Leff to speak on the archive thief. A festive Shabbat dinner will precede the service. Finally, the Paul S. Lazar Caring Committee is looking for volunteers. Please pick up and complete the volunteer card, which is available in the Temple hallway and also in the September bulletin to let us know how you can help. As you leave today, please return your prayer book to the hallway and keep track of your ticket for our remaining services. Thank you to the volunteers in the live stream control room. Dan Fershine and Talia Serbu are at the controls today. Whether you are joining us in person or on live stream, I wish you a sweet and happy New Year again. Shana Tova.
Our service continues now with the Aleinu, which is found in the Machzor on page 286. Please rise if you are able for the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tein gdula l'yotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpat ha'adamah, shelo samach Elokeinu kara, v'gor aleinu k'chol amanah, v'anachnu
Please be seated. We continue on page 289. May the time not be distant, our God, when all shall turn to you in love, when corruption and evil shall give way to integrity and goodness, when lies and bigotry shall no longer enslave the mind, nor idolatry blind the eye. So may all, created in your image, become one in spirit and one in friendship, forever united in your service. Then shall your dominion be established on earth, and the word of your prophet fulfilled. Adonai will reign forever and ever. We turn to page 291 for a reading to introduce the mourner's Kaddish. Our thoughts turn to loved ones whom death has taken from us in recent days, and those who died at this season in years past. Our hearts open as well to the wider circles of loss in our community and wherever grief touches the human family. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be a blessing in this new year and always. Please rise if you are able for the Kaddish, page 292. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agalau v'yizman kariv imru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mivorach Leolam Ulalmei Almaya Yitzbarach V'yishtabach V'yitzpa'ar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yithalal Shemei D'Kudsha B'rechu Le'ela Ule'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. Our closing song is found inside the back cover of our Shofar Healing Service booklet. Technically, it's page 9. As we prepare for our closing song, I just want to thank the many volunteers who helped make this service so beautiful, but especially our Torah readers, Mark Chelmer, Rachel Eastman, and Morris Sobel, and Amanda Eastman, and helped the cantor with duets, and Wendy Koskoff on guitar, and of course Adam Cohen, our Baal Tequila. Maybe I need some tequila later, but his title.
Tequila, you don't know.
Baal Tequila for blowing the shofar, and Adam picked up his guitar once in the service too. So thank you to all of you, and also to Tom Mustachio, our accompanist, who ties the whole thing together with his talent. If you have been watching on live stream, you have, during the duration of our closing song, to post one last comment in the chat or comment section of the live stream platform. And we conclude our service now as we join together in singing Let There Be Love.
understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
We've come to the conclusion of our service. As we conclude our service, we turn to one another and we say, Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.